Hey guys, and welcome. Week 3 of Destiny 2's Season of the Haunted is finally here, and man, it pulled at some heartstrings. As we predicted last week, this week's story focuses very heavily around Zavala and his dead wife Safiyah, and even his son Hakim, and the nightmare that's haunting him. Today I want to explain completely what happened to Zavala during week 3, and even give a little bit of lore and backstory around him, Safiyah, and Hakim, and how basically both of them died. As we get an amazing animated cutscene that Bungie had put together, I'm really excited to show you guys. Now, before we get into today's video, I'm going to be giving away a couple of copies of Season 17, Season of the Haunted in Destiny 2, and maybe a couple of Witch Queen campaigns as well. So if you guys want to be in for a chance to win that, make sure you guys leave a like on today's video, subscribe if you guys are brand new, and join the Discord server that we have for our community. All the links will be down below in the description. I'll be giving all of it away within there. But guys, anyway, without further ado, let's dive in.
With change comes opportunity. In studying this memory of Uldren Sov, a truer nature of the nightmares is revealed. They are born of darkness, and drawn to it like moths to a flame. Callus is such a fire. Through the Leviathan, Callus's mind reaches down to the lunar pyramid, forging the connection that draws the nightmares to him. And should that connection be severed,
we can stop Callus dead in his tracks before he causes any more damage. Your success with Crow isn't going to go unnoticed. Callus will push back. He may be doing so already. Recently, I've been visited in the Helm and elsewhere by one of the nightmares heirs bound to the crown. We need to push harder. I will be accompanying your next Severance mission to weaken Callus's connection to the pyramid. You and I will get this done.
go to the Leviathan and harvest the necessary essence of the nightmares. We must enact the next ritual of severance before it is too late. And Guardian, keep watch over Zavala. As with Crow, the Commander may find confronting his past to be the most difficult mission he has ever faced.
So, as of last week's story, Crow completed the ritual for the second time, and came to terms with his nightmare, Uldren Sov, turning him from something that was haunting him day by day, to a memory in which he can look back on and not feel traumatized by it anymore. However, this week it was the turn of Zavala. Throughout the first 2 weeks of Season of the Haunted, Zavala has encountered his wife on multiple occasions, and each time, he sounded very eager to try and communicate and speak with her. Take a listen to this from week 1. This is when we meet Safiyah for the first time as a phantom or nightmare.
Lightbearer, I have seen your kind before. You seek oblivion.
This could be a trap.
It's not. Pursue this lead.
All the same, proceed with caution.
Zavala has never gotten over his wife Safiyah's death, and even the death of his son Hakim, which is why it makes this experience even harder for him to try and accept and overcome. Now, to begin with, I do want to start giving a bit of background on Zavala, Safiyah, and their son Hakim. This will explain everything in a lot more detail, and it will give you a bit of ammunition going into the rest of the video. This is that amazing cutscene that I was telling you guys about at the very start. Really well done, Bungie. I love this art style. But anyway, we'll summarize it after and talk about it in more detail.
Zavala will not speak to you of his regrets, but I will not let him bear them alone. Here, listen closely. Whispers and confessions as I have heard them. He would tell it differently, but memory clings so loosely to the truth. I will share what I know. Before the Vanguard, before the city, there was a woman. Her name was Safiyah, and she was a surgeon. She came to Lord Saladin's gates, offering her skills in exchange for shelter. Zavala was his protege then. He had been taught his purpose, and he followed it without question. She maddened him. He infuriated her. But respect grew to admiration, and admiration to love. Does it surprise you that Zavala loved? She was meticulous and gentle, strong-willed, stubborn, fearless. It began with an infant, orphaned in a fallen raid. Saladin had taught Zavala duty, war, and the light. But Safiyah showed him that he was more than an instrument of violence. She had one life, and she would share it with him. They called the boy Hakim. And he called Zavala father. In his joy, Zavala thought to abandon the light, as he had abandoned Saladin's ways. That joy ended as it began, with their son. When Hakim followed his father into battle, Zavala could not protect him, and Safiyah could not save him. Hakim died in his mother's arms. Zavala wanted her forgiveness, but she knew there was nothing to forgive. And that giving up the light would be no absolution for him. They returned to the lives they once led. She found love again. She had a daughter. And when Safiyah passed, he asked her to forgive him. Through each generation, he mourned. He asked for their forgiveness. And still, he has not found it.
So I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did, but let's summarise it very briefly here. So Zavala back in the day was a prodigy of Lord Saladin. Then, out of nowhere one day, rocks up someone called Safiyah. Safiyah offers her medical services to Lord Saladin and their group in their compound. Now Safiyah and Zavala didn't see eye to eye at the beginning. He actually really irritated her within the first couple of months of them knowing each other. After this as well, their respect for one another turned into admiration, and then their admiration eventually turned into love for one another. Zavala was classed as a light-bearing soldier, and when he met Safiyah, she taught him about so much more other than just battling and fighting. You could probably say that Safiyah turned Zavala into an actual human being rather than just a soldier that bears the light. A short time later, when Zavala and Safiyah were out in a fallen raid, they came across an infant, and they essentially orphaned this infant and named him Hakim. This was their family completed, and Zavala made the tough decision to leave Lord Saladin and move somewhere and have a life with him, Safiyah, and their son Hakim. Zavala would teach Hakim how to fight and how to wield a weapon to try and defend himself in the event of a fallen raid, or to defend himself when needed. However, one day Zavala spotted a fallen ambush just outside their house. He ran out to defend his family, and without him knowing, closely following behind was Hakim. Now with Zavala, the difference is that he's of course bound by light, and he still was when he had left Lord Saladin's compound, essentially meaning that if he was slain, his ghost could bring him back to life, whereas Hakim and Sophie were not so lucky, and if they were slain, they would be gone forever. During this ambush, Hakim was slain by one of the members of the Fallen, and actually died in the arms of Safiyah. A short time later, Safiyah and Zavala split up. Safiyah moved away somewhere, married again, and even had another child, whereas Zavala moved back with Lord Saladin in their compound and forever seeking closure and forgiveness from Safiyah. But unfortunately, Zavala never got what he wanted, or probably needed. With Zavala being bound by the light, he outlived Safiyah as well, so to this day he still hasn't had that closure that his mind really needs. This is the main reason why Zavala is finding it so difficult to accept this nightmare of Safiyah. He's scared, and even more than Crow in my opinion. So now moving on to what happens in week 3. So very similar to the previous 2 weeks, we go through the Leviathan and place down 3 amplifiers on there as well, listening to dialogue from Safiyah and Zavala along the way, with Safiyah almost tormenting Zavala as we get closer and closer to the ritual point.
The second severance is at hand. We proceed as you wish, Commander. But whatever you hear, you must press forward.
Understood. Thank you, Eris.
Set your amplifiers. Sever Callus's connection. And tread carefully.
I see your new protege, Zavala. I wonder, have you told them what became of the last warrior you trained?
Amplifier online. I'm detecting the commanders as well. As we learned with Crow, these devices will help. But our success hinges on resolving Zavala's inner demons.
Guardian, how can you trust Zavala when you keep secret the life he led before the city? I knew him before he was your commander. When he was young and boastful, we used to sit together, listening to the cicadas. He listens to them sometimes still.
They remind me of what I lost.
Focus, Zavala.
I am.
Why do you leave our names unspoken? Do the memories of that time pain you so much?
Fire team, come in.
We are with you.
I was ambushed by Scorn and a horror I couldn't bring down. I couldn't reach you.
He is shaken. Zavala, tell them you are afraid. Confide in them. Why hide your feelings?
It doesn't matter how I feel.
That is why you would fail. You put your duty before your heart.
The phantoms trapped in this fetid hull sustain something that is growing. Zavala's nightmare is a part of it, but each amplifier further isolates her presence from Callus's hold.
Stay with me a little longer. Life moved on around us, but we can wait here for a moment.
You chose to move when you could have stayed.
Safi,
Don't. You have made your choice.
Go on ahead. I'll find my own way. Final amplifier set. I must be seeing things. The Scorn are wearing... Impossible. The House of Devils is gone.
Your eyes deceive you. Don't be fooled. You've reached the Severance site, Commander. The Guardian is closing on your position.
The brave Zavala holds his offering in clenched fingers, afraid to lose the pain he has kept close for so long.
It's all I have left.
You hoard our memory like a starving animal hoards bones, and call that reverence.
I mourned. I begged for your forgiveness. What more can I do?
Speak our names. Release us.
Guardian.
You said you mourned our deaths, Zavala. Stood at our graves, cried out in prayer to your traveler.
For a long time.
What good did it do? No ghosts found us. Instead, the traveler gave the light to your enemies.
It's not that simple.
It is that simple. That abandoner deserves your duty more than me, more than our son. It is why you left us both to die alone.
Don't use him like that. I chose you. I tried to give it away.
You killed him, as much as the Fallen did. You wove your gallantry into his bones. My son's killers should meet.
We get to the ritual on the Leviathan and we face Kethix, Grief Unforgiven, and Zavala simply just cannot cope, almost losing connection to Safiyah midway through the ritual, but does manage to hold on until the end.
She's slipping away from me.
Strength, Zavala. See through your guilt. He still carries blame. We cannot proceed until he finds forgiveness.
Forgiveness? You shared behind your walls after what they took. This new life dishonors your old one. It dishonors your son.
Hakim.
Your true family wouldn't torment you. This is your grief, Zavala.
My husband is not a liar, and I am speaking his words. He knows what he is.
A hollow man leading others to die. For a silent god.
Enough. Guardian, bring the commander back before any more damage is done.
Zavala ended up failing the ritual, as did Crow the first time around.
A hollow man, leading others to die. For a silent god. Is that what I've become? Have the years whittled away my nerve? I was convinced that seeing her might make things easier. That her absence cuts deeper than her presence. But they are equally sharp. Safiyah. She wants me to speak her name. To confide my feelings in you. What good does it do? Go and see Eris. I'll tell her you're coming. She'll know what to say.
We then return to the tower to console Zavala, but he's just not doing well. He's essentially just completely heartbroken, but also feels as though that he's let down the Vanguard, us, and Eris Morn, and obviously Safiyah. Now this is where we return to the Helm after a conversation with Zavala, and Eris shows us the cutscene between Zavala, Safiyah, and Hakim. Like Crow, Eris must try to console Zavala, let him know that it's okay to fail, and it's okay to let go. This is not easy trauma to forget, and Zavala does need some time to get around this and maybe have a bit of counselling from a member of the Vanguard. By next week, I should imagine that we'll be seeing Safiyah turn from a nightmare into a loving memory in Zavala's mind.
Zavala's wounds run deeper than he allows us to see. The lengths he has gone to cut himself off from his heart is familiar. It is through accepting what we cannot change where we find the strength to move forward. We grieve, we move, and we grow. Zavala only knows grief. But perhaps there is hope in others, in the council of friends and family. There is no running from his truth any longer. The past is laid bare, and so too the commander's heart. Resume your patrols aboard the Leviathan, Guardian, and I will see what can be done elsewhere.
However, towards the end of this as well, we do get a bit of dialogue between Zavala and a character that we'd met in week 1, Amanda Holiday. Amanda Holiday was not very happy with Crow at the beginning of week 1, and now she essentially just feels bad for talking down to Crow like that, and I think she's trying to make amends with that with her own self, and try to console Zavala in a time of need.
Hey, Commander. How you holding up?
I've been better. Sounds like you have too.
Yeah. Pretty tore up inside. Any little thing sets me off. Might have said some hurtful stuff to somebody who didn't deserve it.
We've all been at our worst. When we're hurt, when we're afraid. We all fall apart.
Feels like I'm held together by duct tape and spit lately.
The last few weeks have opened up some old wounds. Reminded me of important people I've lost. My wife. My son.
Yeah. I know that kind of hurt. Other way around, though. I still think about my folks, but I can't really remember their voices anymore.
I can't remember Hakim's voice either. I try. I try so hard.
You want to tell me about him? Your wife?
Someday. Not today. Not yet.
Want some company down in your office anyway? We don't have to talk. Maybe we just sit.
I'd like that. Thank you, Amanda.
Ain't nothing. It's what family does.
But guys, that is all for this week. Next week will be Zavala probably completing the ritual, and then after that, could we see Ikora and Cade 6? Maybe even Keitel and Gaul? Let me know down below in the comments, I'd be very interested to know. Don't forget to leave a like everyone, subscribe if you are brand new around here as well for a chance to win some Destiny 2 goodies as well. Make sure you are a part of the Discord server down below to be in for a chance to win some things on there as well. But guys, enjoy the rest of your day, speak soon, and take care.